Good. I'm David Menzies, Rebel News. My cameraman Lincoln. We're just doing a story on this. Well, I don't know what it means. It's a plaque on Sir John A. Macdonald's statue. It's such a shame. He's been removed from the public square, it seems.
Well, he's just boarded up for now, obviously. I was just curiosity, just what you're doing here. That's it.
Oh yeah, we're just doing an update on. Can you? I mean, honestly, I'm not trying to play stupid. I don't even know what that statement means.
Any questions you have, sir, you can direct towards the Sergeant at Arms office.
Okay.
They'd be more than happy to help you out.
We actually reached out to the Premier's office, sir, and radio silence. So, we're trying to get some answers as to, first of all, why it's boarded up in the first place. I know it's been vandalized in the past by Black Lives Matter protesters, but, when I look at that language, it almost seems to me a prelude to that they're going to remove it somewhere. I mean, I just think it's such a shame that our first Prime Minister of our great Dominion is, like, quasi-cancelled right now.
I hear what you're saying, but unfortunately we have no comment today.
Sure.
For you, but we were just asking what you were doing here, and
that's what.
Be on your merry way.
Oh, okay then, because you were waving over to us, so I
just saying hello.
Okay. Right then. Well, you're friendly officers then. Okay. You have a great weekend, guys.
Guys, have a good one.
Okay. Take care. Bye. David Menzies for Rebel News here on the lawns of Queen's Park in Toronto. Well, folks, a quick update on the Sir John A. Macdonald statue. That is what exists behind this wooden coffin for our first Prime Minister. And if you are able to get a gander up top, they've got some kind of, a garbage bag over his head. In any event, here's the update. A few days ago, this temporary plaque went up on Sir John's coffin, and it reads as thus: "The Legislative Assembly of Ontario is a place for debate and deliberation on issues that matter in our province. Though we cannot change the history we have inherited, we can shape the history we wish to leave behind. The Speaker of the Legislative Assembly is considering how the depictions of those histories in the monuments and statuary on the Assembly's grounds can respect all of our diverse cultures and peoples," end quote. Yeah, so the reason why Sir John is in this coffin, folks, is because going back almost a year ago, those wonderful members of the Black Lives Matter movement, when they would descend upon Queen's Park, they would try to vandalize the statue. They would throw paint upon the statue. Thank God they don't have the engineering wherewithal in order to tear down the statue, because they would have done that if they could. So basically Queen's Park bent the knee to the mob. Can you imagine? They actually decided that because the statue of our first Prime Minister is so triggering to these people, we will kind of quasi-cancel it by putting it in a box away from their sight. I think it's despicable. What's more, I don't even know what this statement means, but if I read between the lines, I think this is a prelude to the day in which they actually remove Sir John and put him in cold storage. Now, folks, I did reach out to Ivana Yilit. She's the spokeswoman for Premier Doug Ford, and I had a few questions for her. Here they are. 1, the language seems ambiguous. Does this mean that the statue is eventually going to be removed from Queen's Park? 2, why is the statue of our first Prime Minister entombed in such a fashion in the first place? 3, I understand this statue has been vandalized in the past by Black Lives Matter protesters. Does Premier Doug Ford feel that these people are a bunch of yahoos, the term he used to describe those peaceful protesters who demonstrate against the economic lockdowns? And finally, 4, boarding up the statue has effectively removed it from public gaze. Is this essentially caving into the mob that embraces cancel culture, as opposed to taking a firm stance that those vandalizing monuments shall be prosecuted? And the response, well, folks, radio silence, nothing out of the Premier's office. What a disgrace. And I guess when it comes to Ontario, when it comes to our very history, being scrubbed from the public square. I guess when it comes to Doug for the People Ford, well, he doesn't have time for insensitive or politically incorrect questions these days. What a shame. For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Well, folks, as you saw in John Tory's Toronto in 2021, go for a walk in the park, get thrown in a paddy wagon. If you have had your charter rights trampled on in the name of the Wuhan virus, please reach out to us at fightthefines.com. That's fightthefines.com. Let us know about your case. If we think it has merit, we'll get you in touch with a top-notch criminal lawyer, and we shall crowdfund your legal fees.